Hey guys, my name is Breton, and I am the Young Adult Services Librarian at the Boyle County Public Library. Today we're going to be learning how to make a doggy piggy bank, which is included in your Teen LibCrate for June. In June we are reading The Knife of Never Letting Go, and in this book there is a dog who we can hear his thoughts, and it's super cool. So I thought doing this project would be a fun thing to do along with that book. So let's get started. Alright guys, so in your LibCrate you have a few supplies. You have some embroidery floss, you have a template of a dog, you have some felt, and an embroidery needle. The supplies that you will need are a pair of scissors and a pen, or some type of marking device. In your LibCrate, this dog is going to be not cut out, so that's going to be the first step for you, is to cut out this template out of the cardstock. The next step is to trace two of these silhouettes onto your felt. Alright, so after you've traced two of these silhouettes, the next step is to take your scissors and cut these two out. Alright. So after you've finished cutting out your two silhouettes, what we're going to do is take one of these and we're going to cut a hole, a single line, large enough for a quarter to fit through near the top of one of the sides. So take a quarter and measure, just make a little dot on one side and then the other of the biggest part of the quarter. Then trace a line between these two so you know where to cut. Taking your scissors, make a small cut on the line you drew to start. Then finish by cutting the rest of the way to the end of your line. Alright, and to double check, just slide your quarter through and make sure it fits. Perfect. Alright, so we can set these to the side for a moment. And our next step is going to be threading our needle. So take your embroidery floss and we're going to separate out two strands. In this one strand of embroidery floss, there are 6 smaller strands. So just pull off 2 of those. And when you're separating the strands, you want to go kind of slow. This has a tendency to knot up if you try to take it apart too quickly. So just be careful and go slow, because the last thing we want is to have a knot in our embroidery floss. That's no fun. So taking one end of your embroidery floss, the easiest way to thread a needle is to get the end of the floss wet. So the way I do that is I pop it in my mouth. Don't at me. I know that we are in a pandemic, but this is going to be my piggy bank, so I think it's okay. And then what you're going to do is just slide the thread through the needle, like so. You can put the needle down, and at the tail end of the embroidery floss, we're going to make a knot. So make a little loop, like this, and then put the tail through the loop 2 times. There's one more time. Alright, then we're going to close the loop to get a knot. Now we are ready to start sewing. So the stitch that we are going to be using today is called the blanket stitch. And the first thing that we're going to do with the blanket stitch is to stitch around the opening that we cut with our scissors. So the first step is to take your needle and come in from behind on one side of the opening about this far. Send your needle through and pull it until the knot comes in. Don't pull the knot through. Then we're going to go just slide the needle through the opening, so we're not making a new hole, we're just sliding it through. Okay. And then we're going to go back through the original hole that we made, making a bit of a loop. Just like so. Okay, you're gonna pull it till the slack comes through, but don't pull it taut. Just gently pull it closed. And at this point, what we're going to do is slide our needle through this loop that we've just created. Like that. And now we're ready to start making our other stitches. So our next step is to make our next stitch. So we're going to go from the front to the back, about this far down. And instead of going all the way through, we're going to slide the needle up through the opening, like this. Do it this way so you guys can see the orientation. And then at this point, take the string and wrap it around your needle, like that, and then pull through. Again, we're going to go from the front to the back, about this far over. Instead of going all the way through, we're going to come back up through the opening, wrap our string around the needle, and pull it through. And we're going to keep doing this all the way around the opening. When you get to the other side of the opening, to make the turn, what we're going to do is make a stitch out to the side. So in from the side through the opening. Again, wrap the string around the needle, pull through. Then we can turn the piece to keep stitching along the side. When you get back to the beginning, what we're going to do is go through our original stitch on the side, through the opening, wrap the string around, pull through, and then we are going to pick up the embroidery floss just right there and make a knot. So we pulled it through the front, pick up this loop, and pull it through to make a knot. Now what we're going to do is slide the needle through the opening to bring it to the back. Now we're on the wrong side. And let's go ahead and pick up this stitch and make another knot. So we make a little loop, thread the needle through this loop to make a knot. One more time for good measure. Pull it through, making a loop. Thread your needle through the loop and pull it to make a knot. And now what we can do is cut off just right there. And here we have the slot ready to get some coins. You can also trim off this excess from where we started. At this point, what we're going to do is put the two sides together, and now we are ready to use the blanket stitch to sew these two sides together. You should have some floss left over, so what we're going to do is make another knot on the tail. And this time, before we get started, we can cut off, leaving about 3 millimeters of space from the end of our tail to the knot. And that'll just clean it up a little bit. Alright, taking our needle and thread, let's start just at the crown of our dog's head. And the first step is going to be to thread the needle through from the wrong side to the front. So about that far from the edge, we're going to come to the front. And that way, the tail end is hidden inside. Alright, so now what we want to do is take our needle to the back and go through both layers through the same hole that we just made. Like that. Now what we're going to do is slide the needle through this stitch that we just made, like so, to get the yarn, to get the string to the top of the stitch. So it's like it's coming out the top. Going about this far over, go from front to back through both pieces of felt. And just like before, we're going to take the string and wrap it around the needle and then pull through. Just like that. Again, go from the front to the back through both pieces of felt. Take our string, wrap it around the needle, and pull through. And we're going to continue like this until we either run out of thread or we get to the beginning. So let's go. When you need to get more string, what you want to do is at the end of one of the stitches, you're going to pick up the last stitch that you did to make a loop, and then send the needle through the loop to make a knot. Now do that one more time for good measure. Through the stitch, through the loop, make a knot. And then what we're going to do is slide the needle off, cut off a little bit extra, leaving about that much. And then you just tuck it into the inside of your piece. Then what we're going to do is take 2 more threads from our strand of embroidery floss. Remember to go slow. We don't want to knot this up. Make a knot at the end of the tail. then trim off the excess. Not too close to the knot. And now what we're going to do is take our needle and go through the last stitch that we made to place the knot in the reverse. We're going to go around the entire piece through the stitch again, and then slide our needle through the stitch that we just made to get the thread in the correct position, which is at the top of the stitch. And then we can keep going as we were. So front to back, wrap the string around, pull through, and keep going. Alright guys, so when we are ready to finish up our blanket stitch, let's do one last stitch. And now we're ready to finish off. So we're going to go through our very first stitch, front to back. Wrap the string around, pull through. Now we're going to make a knot by picking up the stitch along the top, make a little loop, and go through the loop to make a knot. One more for good measure. Make a knot. And now what we can do is slide our needle down between the two pieces through the opening in the front. And then simply trim off this excess just like that. And there we have it, a doggy piggy bank. So you can slide your coins in here, keep them safe, and I hope you enjoy the book. So I hope you all enjoy the book, and I hope you all enjoy this DIY project. We are going to have a Zoom conversation about the Knife of Never Letting Go on Monday, June 28th at 6 p.m. I hope that you can join us, and I look forward to speaking with you about the book. Alright guys, until next time, be safe, be kind, wash your hands, and we'll see you at the next one. Bye.